Happy Thursday, everybody. It's Chamber Check-In time. And today I have the Boise City Mayor, Lauren McLean, with us today. Hi, Lauren.
Hey there. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, it's all my pleasure. I've been excited to feature the city services for a long time now. And I'm so glad that you were able to carve out a little time with me to be featured on today's episode. Hey, Mayor, these Chamber Check-ins, they started a couple years ago, right,
Yeah.
to engage with our members, to help share their stories during the pandemic, the beginning of it all. And when you're an outfit that gathers people for a living, it was we had to shift our sails, as you know.
Yeah.
And Delta Dental signed on to help stream these live conversations with our members. And I'd like to thank them for their support. So Delta Dental, as you know, Mayor, have been providing the best in class dental insurance benefits to Idahoans, and they've been doing it for over 50 years.
Yeah.
And with that, I'm going to share a fun video from their Tooth Truth series. Here we go.
Oh, cool.
Did you know that kids laugh around 400 times a day and adults just 15 times a day? Lighten up, adults.
That's probably one of my favorite ones.
Uh-oh. It sounds like we need to laugh a whole bunch more.
Absolutely. So, Lauren, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It is a beautiful but hot day out there, and really busy over here at the city of Boise. But doing well. How about you?
I'm terrific. Yeah, I had the opportunity to walk to a meeting downtown and beautiful downtown Boise. And there's something special when you walk through Jump and you walk through the Boise Center on the Grove and you're just like, I live here. I'm going to have a meeting at Lucky Finn's. I'm going to walk through Jump. It's amazing.
It's very, very true. And there's so much going on this weekend and of course during the week, but this weekend in particular downtown, it'll be hopping.
Oh, I'm excited. Hey, so how's your team holding up? I know you've had some 2 years now as mayor. Is that 2 years?
Yep, it's been 2 years and 7 months. Is what I only say that because I read something today that I've been mayor for 2 years and 7 months. The team is doing well, and we need the team here at the city of Boise to grow as our city's growing. But I can't say enough about the kind of energy, excitement, and importantly, passion and commitment our team brings to this place every day in service to the people of Boise.
I think it's amazing. I know several of the people on your team, and yes, high quality folks that are passion driven. And that's what we need. We need in our city government, right?
Yeah, we really do.
So tell me a little bit about the city's origin. So when did the city of Boise become the city of Boise?
So that's a great question. And there are actually two dates that I'm going to talk about. The first one is the founding of Fort Boise. And so, of course, we got to acknowledge that there have been people here for hundreds and hundreds of years before Westerners came to Boise. But at the establishment of the Fort Boise, which we all know where it is, it's still here in the city, was in 1863. And that's why we celebrated our sesquicentennial in 2013. But then also, if you go over to the state capitol, you'll find incorporation papers for the city that are, I have the date in front of me, that lists January 11th, 1866. So there was both the kind of original founding of the city and then the paperwork that went into it once the state existed.
That's so cool. 1863. That's amazing. 2013. I moved here in 91. And so I think I've been here for a long time, but 1863. Wow. So, Mayor, when did you start in your quest of becoming a leader in city government, and kind of bring us up to date on your history of work that led to being mayor today?
Sure. And I would say, I don't know when the quest started per se, as the question was, but what I want to talk about is when I started getting involved as a volunteer in this community, because I think what makes Boise so special is the interest, willingness, and the deep desire of Boiseans to roll up their sleeves and help not only protect, but chart the course of the community, the city that we love. And, you moved here in 1991, like those people that moved in 1863. I bet you saw promise in this place. My husband and I got married in 1997, right after we graduated from college, and moved out here in 1998 for the same reasons that people had for 150 years. And that is that this is an incredible place of opportunity with wonderful people that are committed to the community that we've all helped to shape and build. And when I was in my early 20s, I started volunteering because I felt so blessed to live in this place, and noticed that the community opens their arms to folks, as we still do. And so started volunteering on neighborhood issues. I was on my neighborhood organization, the North End Neighborhood Association Board, and worked with hundreds of volunteers to protect our foothills. And then ultimately started volunteering on city commissions like the Parks Commission and then the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Okay. And then you served on city council too, as well.
Oh, yeah. And then from Planning and Zoning Commission, I ended up being appointed to and then running for city council. And, along the way, I'd say what kind of guided my engagement was what I referenced earlier, was how important it was to me that we were blessed to live in this incredible community, and my desire to not only give back. I say not only give back because by volunteering you get so much, right? But to really be involved in building out the community of people that were part of our lives and our kids' lives, and then giving back to the community of people that provide so much every day, and that is the people of Boise.
I love it. I know that the City of Trees and the river running through it is what drew me. Or running high school track, and I think state championship was down at BSU, and just being down there and taking a break and putting your feet in the water after a race, I was like, okay, I want to live here, and I never looked back.
I've never looked back. And we are so blessed. There's so much that we have. I was just talking to somebody today about how special, not the places that we call home, but importantly, the people that we call home. But I loved, in my early years here, Scott and I had a daughter relatively quickly. Madeline was born in 98 while I was a grad student at Boise State. And so, you talk about going from Boise State down to the river. I would bike across the river, that Friendship Bridge, 3 nights a week for classes. And then either on the way there or the way back would often stop along the river and dip my toe in the water too. It was such a cool way to get over to a college campus and to get to class.
Oh,
I just loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Hey, so I'm going to tell a little story. You don't know this, but I see you running in the foothills. I go mountain biking, and we're all in our gear, right? But I notice you. I notice your running style, and you're coming down the freeway back into the, I don't know where you're headed, but you're in a good stride, and you're running, and you had a good workflow with it. And I saw you. I just like, she's in her mode of running. But I saw this other couple that, or maybe it's like a group of people, and they's like, Mayor, stop. And normally I would be like, hey, I'm running. But you took the time, you stopped, you engaged with those people. And I kind of was just on the I was on the top of the hill drinking water and watching it. I'm like, okay, that is a good person in her own moment, taking her own time, but then stopped to engage. I just had to say that, and that's just a sign of a good leader.
Oh, thank you, Paul. I, like so many Boiseans, I'd say all Boiseans love our trails as much as we love our greenbelt. And this morning I was out with a friend, and some days I'm out there and nobody notices when I go by, and they never notice me when I'm in my bike because you got your sunglasses on, your helmet, all the things. So Scott and I this weekend were mountain biking, and then people don't recognize me. But running, it often happens. And I got to say, I love it because we're all out there doing the same thing. It's a chance to meet people in a different way and to hear a little bit about what they're thinking about and why they're out there, what trails they love, and what's on their mind. So I see it as a great opportunity. Love saying hi to people.
Well, and another little positive plug, Mayor, I know my son and I were in City Hall maybe earlier last year, and we just stopped in and we were just wandering around. I just taken him on a little field trip, and you were there and you said hi from across the room and just made his day. And he still has his Future Leaders patch on his backpack.
Oh, cool. I love running into kids at City Hall or elsewhere. And I really love it when I hear that they actually took the patch and put it on their backpack.
Well, Dad did, but Okay. Hey, okay. Origin city of Boise, 1863, Fort Boise. Talk a little bit about you and what led you into serving the city. And Maria Wieg and I talked a little bit about, hey, let's share some more about the breadth of the city services.
Sure.
So, I don't know if everybody knows that, the police, the fire, Parks and Rec, the zoo, are all part of the city programs and departments. So tell us a little bit about the different departments and go a little bit deeper into the breadth of the city services.
Sure. That's a great thing to point out because the city does provide so many services and then also seeks to create opportunities to engage with residents. And all of it centers on our desire to be sure and to create a city for everyone. And so whether it be like chasing our highest priorities of affordable housing, transition to clean energy with climate action, and building a strong economy, each of the departments that we have is involved in achieving that mission in some ways, while at the same time providing services to Boiseans. So think about the airport. People come and go there. It's an incredibly important part of our economic development, but they're also working to source clean energy and be a big part of making it possible for us to achieve carbon neutrality by 2035 as a city. The zoo is a great conservation partner in providing education on the importance of conservation of animals, and also working with organizations around the world to save animal species, but importantly, creating opportunities for kids, families, even adults. We even have city employee events there, and adults by themselves will show up at the zoo, have the opportunity to get to know animals, to feed them, to pet them, and to take a look at them. I want to point out even, the things that have to work, like the garbage, composting, and recycling that gets picked up. That's administered by the city in partnership with Republic Services, but a big part of our climate action. 97% of Boiseans compost at this point, and we had great success with our recycling programs. And then we have an arts and history department that helps connect our origin story in some ways, like that you started the program with, and the history of not only our city, but this region, even before we were a city, but the history of this place and her people, with the future that we're charting by creating opportunities for residents to experience art and history, and to create collections that we can share with the public. And then most people are familiar with our parks in one way or the other, but parks programming also seeks to provide opportunities for kids that don't have as much as opportunity to learn how to play golf, to be at play camps during the day, et cetera. So there's a vast array of services. And the incredible thing about the team at the city of Boise who exists to serve the public, each of these departments, whether they're keeping the community safe or getting people to where they need to go to work, are focused on ensuring that we're a city for everyone with opportunity for all.
How many employees are there, just the city of Boise?
Oh, I hate it when people ask me numbers questions and I don't have the exact number. But we're about 2,000 employees. And in the summer, that gets bigger because think about when you're in the parks, there's a ton to do. We need lifeguards. We need play camp operators. And then just the day-to-day object of running a city and making sure that all the services residents rely on is only possible because of the people that we employ that provide that service.
I'm glad you mentioned the pools because it's a perfect time. It's so warm out there. I don't know if everybody knows, and new residents know that there are, I don't know how many city pools that to buy an annual subscription or a membership to the pools it's nominal. I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, and the pools are a great resource, especially while it's hot. Of course, we've got the river too, and you can float the river, which is lovely. We enjoy the pools especially when our kids were little, so much because it was so affordable. So we could get a family pass and the kids could go on their own as they got a little bigger and they could bike. The four of us could go after dinner when the pool opened up again after dinner. And it was a great way to cool off, to spend some family time at a price that we could afford as a young family.
And the natatorium is just rad. I really love that place with the slide. And
Every now and then I still find these little plastic remnants of Aiden especially always had these bracelets of like his slide bracelet with the 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like the 10 little numbers that you pull
Yep.
off when you
Oh,
went
yeah.
down the slide. And just a couple of weeks ago, I was in his closet. He's 18 now. I was in his closet, like going through a bin, and in the bottom were some of these little pull-offs from the natatorium slide that he'd never used, but had fallen out of a bag or something. It totally took me back to the days on the slide that he loved so much. And it's wonderful to see that still being such a big part of people's lives and a big part of the city.
Oh, it's huge. It's awesome. And I'll have an opportunity to speak with Doug Holloway later to do a little deeper dive into the Parks and Rec. And then Gene Peacock is your director for the zoo. And I'll have an opportunity to feature and dive a little bit deeper into the zoo. So that's exciting.
That's great.
Let's talk a little bit about how residents can get involved with the city's different and various volunteer opportunities.
Yeah. And that's, like I said at the beginning, how I got involved. It was a way for me to create a strong sense of community in this special place. And we want to do the same thing for residents today. So it's really important to me that we engage residents and create opportunities for people to be involved and make it as easy as possible. I'm going to talk first about a couple upcoming engagement opportunities because it's so important that we hear from people. In the next week or so, we'll be releasing an update to our zoning code, and it might sound like wonky, right. But it's actually really important because it addresses the design of our neighborhoods as we grow, how we make sure people have access to opportunity, how we make sure that people can afford to live in this community, walk to school, walk to stores, et cetera. And we heard a lot from the public in the last year, and we wanted to make the document and the plans more reflective of Boiseans. And so we'll have an update to share next week, and we want to hear from the public. So you can go to the website, cityofboise.org. You can follow us on social channels and find out information about that. And then also, we have different volunteer boards and commissions. And so I feel as though it's fairly regularly that there's an appointment, a seat opening up on a commission, and we're putting out a call to residents for volunteers. And we have a Parks Commission, a Public Works Commission, Planning and Zoning Commission, Arts and History Commission, Airport Commission, and others. And so I'd encourage residents to kind of put a bookmark in our website, to follow the City of Boise on social channels, because there are often announcements about opportunities to get involved.
I just started receiving this weekly email. It's called In the Know, and you can subscribe. So I've got the City of Boise website scrolling on the bottom of the screen for folks to take a look. And what I really enjoyed after diving into it a little bit more is you had lots of different resources for new residents, current residents, all the different departments and their roles. But at the bottom, if you scroll down, you can subscribe to receive I don't know, is it a weekly electronic news?
I think it is about weekly. Yeah, you can go to the bottom of our website too, and you'll see a chance to subscribe. It's really important to engage our residents, to welcome new folks that have chosen to call Boise home, and to provide as much information as we can to help you get involved in your new home and building your own community. And then also, of course, for all of our residents to know how to get involved. And so we've sought ways to share more information. In the Know is one of them. And if you subscribe to the newsletter, then you'll see even more readily, without having to go search for it, opportunities for engagement. Because what we found through the course of our 150 plus year history is that Boiseans are great at coming together and addressing challenges and turning those challenges into opportunities to create the city that we love today. And we will continue to do the same for the future.
That's awesome. Continuing on, can you tell us a little bit about any other upcoming events and other news, kind of like the Irma Hayman?
Excuse me,
house.
I'm sorry.
No
the Irma Hayman
house.
Sure.
And you mentioned a little bit about the zoning ordinance, but there's also a library strategic plan maybe that's coming up.
Yeah.
Share a little bit about that.
Thank you. The Irma Hayman house will be opening this fall. It's a home in the River District that was owned by Mrs. Hayman, and we have restored it and want to use it as a community space and educational center. And so that'll open in the fall. There's a great space outside for community gatherings. We envision music, other things. And then the inside space will be a learning center. We have also the James Castle House. This is has been open. I'm sorry. Excuse me.
That's okay.
I got COVID a couple weeks ago, as you know, and the cough lingers and comes back occasionally. So excuse me. The James Castle House is another city facility. It's off of Castle Street in Northwest Boise. And that had been where the artist James Castle lived and painted a lot of his work. And so we have an artist in residence program there, and then a community space, and often unknown, but a great place to shop for holiday gifts, a little store in there that has a great array of items for Boiseans or others who want to look around. The library, and thanks for calling that out, because I meant to mention that. The last time we did a strategic plan for the library was in 2000. So I think about it was like the turn of the century, and it's time for another one. It was a 20-year plan, so it expired in 2020. And I think about this as an incredible opportunity for residents to share with us their thoughts on what they need from the library, what they enjoy having today from the library, and what they'd like to see from the library. And that's system-wide. So it's an opportunity for residents to share with us their thoughts. And if you get the In the Know newsletter, or you follow the city on social channels or on the website, you'll see opportunities in the coming months to be involved in charting the course of our libraries for the next 20 years. Or no, excuse me, we are going to do a 20-year plan. This one we decided to do a short plan, a 3 to 5 year plan, and focus more on operations and services, because we believed that at this moment in a post-COVID world, when we learned so much about the value of services that libraries provide during COVID, we want to make sure that we get right the services that are important to Boiseans. And then once we've figured that out and can plan for that, then we'll start looking at a longer term plan to make sure that citywide we're able to provide those services.
I love that. And I know that my father-in-law also takes my kids down to the library, and they use their podcast room, and they make tapes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's super fun. Okay. I think, hey, we've spent enough of your time. Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to close by giving you any extra time is there anything we missed? Is there anything that you want to share while we have you before we close?
Oh, thanks, Paul. I want to say thank you first off to you for reaching out, and to the Chamber as an organization in general for being such a great community partner. It was wonderful to see you last night at the groundbreaking for the Chabad Center and Eli's Library. I feel like I see you everywhere because you provide support to so many organizations. And I just encourage folks, whether you're a Chamber member or not, to seek out ways to be involved in your community, in our city, in our community, because it really is incredibly important, especially in this moment as we grow, that we come together, we address challenges as we always have. And I think it's through that community engagement and strengthening of community that we'll see that we remain the city that we each know and love. And so when we say we want to hear from folks and know their thoughts on plans that we're creating, when we say we want to hear from folks and see if there's ways to engage them as volunteers, we mean it. And so really appreciate the opportunity today to share some of those opportunities.
Absolutely, Mayor. And I'm glad you mentioned our partnership, because I see you at many of the grand openings and ribbon cuttings of businesses. So you're supporting those businesses, because I know it's so important. We also, you help us with our young professionals and the development of our next generation of leaders by offering a mayor's roundtable with our BYP program. I think that's amazing. And also your speech this year with the State of the City address was just spot on. You truly care and are passionate about the city and the people. So thank you for your leadership, Mayor. I look forward to our next time we get to connect.
Thanks so much, Paul. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.